Thanks for waiting, folks. Young Life Perceptions here. Oh. Yeah, we worked on that intro all night. You hear that? What a great fucking intro. Young Life Perception. I can't rap, folks, so I'm not even going to try. All right. We got new strobe lighting. Oh! Look at it! It's a party up in here! We got Mike Lemke on! It's a disco!
All right.
Oh,
that was
nice.
Right.
Wow. Cut the music. Yeah, can you plug that in?
Yeah, dude.
Sorry for the wait. We say that every fucking time.
Is your mic on?
Yeah.
Is yours on?
Yep.
Cool.
Perfect.
I'll check with the chatters to see if they can hear us or see us. They might have all missed the intro.
They could have. Hopefully not.
After all the thought that went into it.
Wow, we did a great job on that, too. We didn't even fucking rehearse at all. All right, well, I got to get the boring shit out of the way. So if you're trying to find our audio podcast, you can go to younglifeperception.com. Yeah, I'm sorry I have to do this, but you can also check out all of our blogs. Well, how many blogs are we up to now?
We have like...
Probably like 40.
No, we're at like 46.
40 posts? Wow.
Yeah.
And we do it twice a week, so we're always providing new content for everyone. And that's sort of like our podcast, our blogs. We just talk about stuff that we think will help people.
Yeah,
much.
for sure.
You can follow us for more up-to-date information. It's a lot more current information on our Twitter, at Team Young Life P. And as far as the host of the show, that's at Schwemsy. And I'm at Caddy Quinn. And what's your Twitter handle?
Just at Mike Lemke.
Wait, it's at Mike _.
Yeah.
Lemke, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. We also have a YouTube channel, which is where we post these videos after they're on Ustream Live.
Commercial free.
Yeah, if you watch them on Ustream, they're going to have commercials, and I'm sorry about that. I mean, we can afford all this cool, fancy backdrop and lighting, but we can't afford, decent Ustream. I think it's like $100 a month or some shit like that.
Wow.
We're not balling out of control yet. So
Not yet.
we're
balling on a budget right now.
We just have cool strobe lights and shit. To find the YouTube, it's going to be in the description, hopefully. And if you can't find it, it's on our Twitter, on our website, so you can find it there. And also, the audio podcasts are on Stitcher and iTunes for all the people who use iPhone. You can just stream our audio podcast straight to your iPhone, so that's actually pretty cool. And we do appreciate reviews and things like that, and comments and likes on YouTube. So if you guys want to do that, that'd be great. I'm not telling you guys to do it. I'm just asking nicely.
Nice.
Please, for the love of God, just do it. A couple podcasts that I check out that I think other people should probably check out if they enjoy ours or want to listen to more would be Epic Podquest. You can find them on Twitter at Epic Podquest, and then just check them out. We also did an interview on Random Variety Show podcast. I don't remember when that was.
Like a month ago, something like that.
September-ish. That actually turned out pretty well.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can check that one out too. Share it with people. That'd be great. And then I also checked out David Seamanauer, which is actually really cool. He's running for congressman in 2014.
Nice.
Talks about the shit we talk about. So he's doing a good job on his podcast. It's pretty big.
Nice.
And then also Skeptic Tank by Ari Schaffer. Schaffer? I can't say his last name. Schaffer. There we go. Skeptic Tank. That's actually pretty sweet too. I heard him interview 2 kids from Anonymous on there, so that was pretty sick. And
Sweet.
we also have, last but not least, we also have another interview set up for
October 17th.
October 17th.
Yep.
So we'll let you know about that also. And with all of that info being said, let's start this podcast. We're done, man.
Thanks.
This is Mike Lemke. Good friend, master debater,
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be debating with us live on Ustream. So if you guys want to tune in for a real debate, we got it for you. It's not on TV, trust me. It's here. Right?
Right here, right now.
We're going to learn a lot of stuff. We're going to be talking about anonymous, muscle growth, more specifically making...
Mostly, current events.
Yeah,
things
current
like
events.
that.
We're talking about Facebook. We're going to bash Facebook. It's not going to be pretty.
Pretty bad, yeah.
But yeah, that's basically what's going to be going down on the podcast. Don't mind me. I'm trying to just make sure everyone knows that we're live. But if you guys want to start off with Cody, if you want to start off with your topic.
All right, well.
Let's get this show on the road.
Let's get the show on the road.
We have what's that called for the debates? A mediator or something?
Yeah.
He's sits over there. Basically just says,
yeah,
Ron Paul,
yep.
You don't have any time. Romney, you have some time.
All right, well, I was looking online, and I found this cool article about, it basically talks about a study that was done, and as people age, they tend to lose muscle mass. You see, the old wobbly old men who can barely even walk with 2 canes.
Wobbly old men.
Yeah, they don't have any muscle left, and it's a natural thing. We see it every day. Basically, scientists have been trying to get down to the bottom of why this happens, and they started doing a study on mice, and what it told them was that every single muscle in a mouse's body has a dormant reservoir pool of stem cells. And basically, whenever a muscle is injured or whenever it needs to be repaired from exercise or working out or whatever, it releases these stem cells, and they all pool together and weave together, and they make new muscle fibers to repair the muscle. So they found out that is how our muscles get repaired. But what they found was that as we age, there's a certain protein that enters our body, and we get higher and higher levels of it. It's called...
Isn't it like FGF2 or something?
Yeah, FGF2.
Only part I remembered.
Yep, for sure. And basically, this protein, when you have a high level of it, it actually stimulates the release of those stem cells that are lying dormant in each muscle. So these stem cells that are usually used for injuries and repairing muscles are now being used all the time because of high levels of this protein. And that happens as you get older. The levels in your body naturally get higher. It happened with the mice as well. So what scientists have started to realize is that if they can inhibit the effects of that protein that naturally gets higher in level as we age, they could possibly keep those stem cells in that reservoir pool for longer, so that our muscles can repair and regenerate as we age, just like they do when we're young.
When we're young, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. That is crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, when I read that article, I was kind of blown away. I mean, to me, when you figure out something like that, afterwards it's so easy to find out all the next... Well, I'm not explaining it right, but if you find out something huge like that, and people say, well, they haven't made it so it works on humans yet. Dude, that's just a couple days away.
Yeah, seriously.
Once you have your foot in the door, it's everything they're going to come up with is going to be so much easier after that.
That's like saying most drugs on the market now were tested on mice and stuff too. And
Yeah, and it's only a matter of time before
right.
it's on, the actual market. Not, what the fuck? Hold up a second. Not seeing or hearing anyone. You guys can keep talking. I'm sorry I stopped you.
I don't know. Are we live right now? Like, can people see us?
Yeah, there's 11 people in here.
11
11 Young Life Perception fans.
I was told they couldn't.
All right. I just told them all to press refresh, and
That's
it should
what I
work.
said.
It's because if people are using cell phones or things like that, then I don't know, because I'm looking at it right now and it's working. They probably had to be on a laptop or something, but so muscle stuff.
Yeah.
You present that so perfect. I can't. There's no.
Yeah.
I don't even think I'm gonna be able to present my debate topic the way you debated
Thanks,
it.
dude.
No.
But basically, I just don't want them taking it farther than what it is right now. Like it sounds.
Like they're playing God.
Yeah, it sounds
In-
great
in a
right
way,
now,
yeah.
but like, what if shit goes wrong? What if like, I mean, shit always goes wrong. Seems like.
Yeah.
What if they start using it on old people and all of a sudden it just backfires and it just depletes it all in one day or something?
Or what
in a
if- what if-
week and they
what
just
if-
fucking like
Yep.
their muscles just collapse and they just fall out of their chair and like break into a million pieces?
Or what if they
kinda
actually
brutal.
start using that and then everybody starts living for like 30 years longer and the population still is multiplying as fast as it is right now? Then our world is going to become vastly overpopulated
Extremely overpopulated.
pretty quick.
Yeah, it would.
You know, it's like humans always feel like they need to take the reins and play God, but when does it ever turn out good? You know?
Probably
We're-
never.
There's always going to be something we don't
Monsanto.
take into account, and we
yeah.
think that it's so sweet right now, but what are the future implications of that? Is it going to be beneficial or is it going to be harmful to us?
I mean, short term it seems nice, but
Mm-hmm.
the long term, I mean, you could have many different negative side effects from that.
Yeah.
You need to adjust your mic, bruh.
Is that good? Is that better?
Yeah.
There you go.
All
Yeah.
right. I apologize.
Oh no, big deal. I'm just trying to make sure it's a great show for the fans.
Look, it's my first time, okay?
It's all right, man. I mean, what do you want to say on the topic? What's
I mean, it's, like what I saw with this, especially as issue, is definitely the overpopulation of the entire world. If we're already complaining about overpopulation as is, what is this going to do to? I mean, they've said even just with advances in modern medicines and stuff we have now, it's caused overpopulation to run rampant. I mean, imagine what this could do, especially if your body's able, especially if they get it to the point where it keeps your heart growing healthy and all that stuff too, and it just keeps your whole body overall just lasts, like you said, another 30 years. And I mean, I don't know if I'd want to live to be 130 years old or
Right.
anywhere near that, but to me that's just, it definitely adds to overpopulation, which if it's a problem now, why make it worse?
Yeah,
I suppose.
for sure.
When I think about things like this, I think of them taking kind of the wrong steps about like that's a cool step. Come up with a drug that helps, your muscles, but they never want to attack the fact that we don't eat right our whole lives.
Right.
Like, it's almost like everybody thinks that our bodies are inefficient.
But they're
I
not.
mean, they survived, 3 billion years of fucking evolving, and you're going to say, well, the muscles just don't work when you're 60. Like, you ever think that maybe that has to do with their life growing up?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what they ate? Like, Monsanto corn?
Yeah.
Like, fuck. It's, my muscles would deteriorate too, So, I think I like to call it a superficial solution. It's awesome. It's cool to figure out, but it should only be used with extreme diseases and shit, or if someone has a problem.
Right.
What was it, like multiple sclerosis? Couldn't it fix something
MS?
like that? Isn't that where your
It could.
muscles start to,
Deteriorate.
yeah.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so.
I hate saying that word for some reason. But that's the way I think of it, is like, I hate when people make stuff like this because it makes it seem like our bodies aren't capable of doing shit.
Right.
And I think it just all comes down to the fact that we don't eat good food. We don't exercise anymore. And when you're fucking 60 or 65, 70, and you haven't touched a gym, when our ancestors used to fucking, all they did is walk and chase shit
Right.
and hunt stuff that had little to no fat on it and ate it and picked berries and shit. And now we have fucking fruit roll-ups.
Yeah.
We have our society too now that we don't want the hard work. We want the easiest way to get something
Oh yeah.
with the least amount of time. So that's essentially what this is doing. This is giving you the strong muscles without having to waste your time. It's, to me, that's what it seems like. It's just contributing to, especially like in America, the idea of having something that's supposed to be a long-term thing faster.
Mm-hmm.
If
It's
that-
like you're
if that
trying to
makes
cheat.
sense.
You're trying
Yeah.
You're trying to make the problem more complicated
Yep.
when it's not. You just eat healthy and work out.
And you have to put in the work.
Yeah,
and
they
actually,
don't even talk about that. They're just like, guess what we made? You know, it's like, dude, like we shouldn't be preaching about that stuff.
Do we think it's giving you a reason, like an okay to be lazy now?
That's what I thought. Like maybe people are just gonna be like, I'll be fine.
Senatrin Ultra.
Yeah, dude. Big Pharma is gonna love when that comes out in pill form.
Oh.
You know, they're just gonna be all over that shit. I think people just need to take responsibility for themselves and realize that they need, if whatever they're doing now is gonna affect them when they're older.
Yeah, for sure. There's consequences for every action. So you take a shortcut early on, maybe use some fat burning pills that haven't really been tested the way they should, and then it has negative implications at some point in the future. You're going to feel pretty shitty about it later on. But right now, you can lose that 10 to 15 pounds, kind of get a good stomach going on for a little bit until you have like liver problems in like 10 years.
Yeah, I mean,
cost is too
just
high.
do it the old-fashioned way. It's not really that bad. Like, you and I have been doing it. I don't fucking really take anything.
Build self-discipline instead of just giving you something. If you take fat-burning pills, you're literally just being given something. It's a shortcut. It's, like you said, cheating. That's, you know, you're putting something into your body that is making you burn fat as well as muscle, too. They don't emphasize that very often, but all of those fat-burning supplements burn about 83% fat, and then the other 17% is muscle. So you might be getting skinnier and losing weight, but muscle is heavier than fat. So you burn that 17% of muscle, and that's going to be heavy as a lot of that fat you're losing too. So it's just losing pounds, but it's not losing it in a healthy way.
Yeah. And I don't trust any of that stuff. Anything that makes things like that easier or a shortcut or faster, you need to just not do it. Because it's cheating. That's all it is. And if you cheat, things are going to happen.
Yep.
That's the end of that story.
Yeah.
Not a happy ending, I guess. I guess you made me think about a cool little story I saw. I'm just going to throw this in real quick, and then we'll go to the next topic. They tested like fake pills. Okay, so they have capsules with sugar.
Placebos?
Yeah, with sugar in them. And they gave them to the people and said, this is high blood pressure medication. And those people thinking that those pills worked lowered their blood pressure. And the people who were actually taking the real blood pressure pills it wasn't like it was staying the same.
Really?
Or it would go down. But the people who thought about it the most on those pills, it went down.
Man, that's
because
nuts.
just you knowing that something works, I think your body just knows. Like, I think the power of thought is a lot
Much
more
greater.
powerful than what people think.
Yeah, there's more of a connection between your mind and your body and your soul. There's a way that you can operate all as one, but you have to find that balance and you have to find that Zen state, kind of like you were talking to me about. You have to be able to find that point where you have an inner calmness. You know yourself to a point where you can kind of bring all three of those dimensions together and actually feel like you have achieved self-actualization. Trying to get to that point where you are just happy and, you know, things are going to go wrong in life, but you accept that because you have hassles every single day of your life, no matter who you are. If you can learn to have the mindset to ignore those and go on with your day in a positive fashion, you're going to be a healthier person.
It's a good way this makes a good point. It's very accurate, I would say.
Thank you.
Sorry. Monkey, what was your first topic?
I mean,
was it Iran and Israel?
Yeah, it was kind of into that and just like the idea of their nuclear program mostly, which I don't like the idea of for obvious reasons, but I've also studied things that there are alternative. Like they say it's for peaceful purposes and giving power to their country. That's why they need to do it, but they can't explain the weapons grade plutonium. But there's other different elements and stuff they could use. Like I did a project in one of my classes last year that covered this element on the table called thorium. And it's generally newer, and it's actually way more abundant in the earth naturally than uranium is. And there's because it has such a higher melting point, I believe it was, than uranium, that there's literally a 0% chance of it melting down and causing like the big issues of fallout and everything that way.
Nuclear power plants and
stuff like that. So I think if they truly are trying to do it that way, why not go that route? To me, just stuff like that. I don't know. I was kind of getting into that, and the whole Israel wanting to fight them thing. I mean, is that a good idea? Is it not a good idea?
Yeah. So whose side are you on?
I mean, obviously, I'm not with Iran.
Why is that?
I just don't like. I don't like their leader. I think he's a whack job, and I think they're definitely producing weapons. Well, and they're actually helping the Syria conflict right now. They're helping the government there too, which I don't agree with. But I don't think it's a good idea to give a guy that basically has said multiple times he wants to wipe a people out the weapons to do so. So I don't necessarily agree that Israel's right to just haul off and attack them like that, especially being an American, because it kind of drags us into something.
It gets pretty complicated.
Yeah, I mean, it could go. It goes so deep, it's hard to.
It's hard
narrow
because
it down.
I've seen stories where Iran is the bad guy, and it's like, when are you going to hear that from the United States
That's
at
true.
all?
Well, yeah,
because we
never.
fucking hate Iran.
Right.
So you have to look. Why is it that we hate Iran? Why only Iran? And it's because they fucking won't let us have a base in their country. We have a base in almost every country except we hate North Korea too because they won't let us have a base there. I started putting all that shit together. Like, I have to look to see if Iran's the bad guy when I see something like that. I have to.
Yeah.
Because first of all, the United States does some pretty shady shit. And whose team are they on? They're on Israel's team. So first I went and looked. I was like, I have to look up, see who has nukes and who doesn't. Israel has 200 nukes. Okay? Israel hates Iran. And Israel's the one that's saying, we're going to attack you because you might have a nuke. They don't even have one yet. They haven't really, as far as I can tell, they haven't threatened to even use one. They only threatened back when Israel said, we're gonna attack you.
Right.
Because we're afraid that when you get one, you'll attack us. You have 200 fucking nukes. If they get one, shoot it over. United States would probably shoot that bitch down, and Israel would unload all 200 on Iran. I just don't think Iran would do that. And that's what I think about. I think about that side of it.
I don't think Iran would make it so obvious that it was them, though. I don't think they'd just launch it from Iran over the way. I think they'd find a way to sneak it in and get it in there into Iran, and it wouldn't be like a missile attack. I don't think it would be. It'd be too. I mean, you're just asking to start a war and stupid stuff you don't want to do. If you launch it like that,
I think Israel's at fault, and it makes me seem like a bad person because we've been told our whole life that we're supposed to trust Israel.
Well, yeah,
and I don't listen to what people say. I go and research what to think. So when someone has 200 nukes, and a country that is backing that country with 200 nukes has like 5,000, and we're telling Iran they can't have any, they probably feel scared. They don't have anything to defend themselves.
Right.
That's how you defend yourselves. You threaten them with nukes. No one's stupid enough to use them.
well, you hope so.
Yeah. But
I mean,
look at North Korea though. North Korea is just as maybe worse than Iran, and they haven't used theirs.
I think North Korea has a lot less money than Iran does, though, too.
You know what's crazy about North Korea, though, is that they don't let anybody in their country who is not of their nationality.
Right.
And they will grow up.
They're fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's insane because they can program their people to think however they want them to. They have no outside influences.
Yeah.
It's just their rule, their reign.
Well, that's the thing. I always wondered about that country, if there's actually people living there that don't even know an outside world exists.
Right.
Because I think that's very possible in that country. The way they have, the way they have it so set up, to me, that blows my mind. If there's someone that's living on a farm and all they know is to grow food for their country, why do they need to know there's anyone else out there?
Right. Yeah.
That just blows my mind a little bit.
And think about it. If they don't like Americans, which I'm pretty sure they don't, when they talk negatively about them in their country, who is going to have the balls to stand up and say they're not bad people? Because when it comes down to it, they don't know.
Well, they disappear.
Yeah, they just disappear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I agree with Iran shit, but I'm the type of person that's
Right.
like, leave people the fuck alone. If
Yeah.
they want to do something, let them do it. Work on some defense or something.
I-
Don't worry about trying to stop people from getting technology.
The
That's
ol-
like saying, you know, we're going to stop you from getting internet. They're going to get internet eventually. And if their government won't let them, somebody else in another country will make sure they get internet,
Yeah.
which has already happened multiple times. You can't stop people from getting things, especially when they see it as a way to defend themselves.
To me, there's two things I guess I think about it. One I think about is I agree with you that Israel said they would attack them if this happened and whatever. But I've also seen interviews where the Iranian president multiple times just like we need to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. They need to go.
Did you watch the one where he explained what that meant?
No, I didn't. I was
Yeah.
reading a little. I read a little bit about it, but I didn't. But that's not the only time he said that. And I also this guy's
Do you
also
take
did-
Obama's word for things?
not. I don't take any politician's word.
I would
for
threaten
things.
people too if I didn't have a nuke. It's
But-
my only hope.
This is also coming from a guy who denies the Holocaust happened.
Everybody has a right to their opinions.
I suppose, but I don't know how you're going to fight history that way.
I don't know, man.
I'm just saying it doesn't help your cause to say
People
these
say
things.
stupid shit.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I've said stupid
everyone
shit in my
said-
life.
Yeah, oh, yeah, so have I. But,
I mean, that could be this. I mean, I don't know. I could say I believe in aliens.
yeah, but I mean, I don't.
We're just making
How-
this a debate, man.
How to put it?
We're trying to add some
No.
OSCK in here and make it awkward.
No, I get it. I understand. I'm trying to put it in a way that makes sense.
The way I see it is I don't listen to like one side's version.
No,
of
well, yeah,
somebody.
you definitely have to look at two. And
And I mean,
see,
I've heard some of his speeches, and I've heard him be interviewed, and he's kind of fucking smart.
oh, I don't doubt he's a smart. I mean, he runs a country, and they make money.
But do I think
they
he's
make,
the best? Probably not.
No, and they make money through all the sanctions we put against them. So obviously they're generally smart at what they do.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy when you have a lot of oil and whatnot,
Mhm.
and everyone needs
But
it.
everybody bullies the shit out of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many sanctions on them. I'm surprised they're still alive.
Yeah, and I mean, I just think it's kind of funny how we say you might use it, yet we're the only country who's used too.
Yeah.
I just think that's
Well-
kind of fucking stupid.
Oh yeah, it's definitely hypocritical of us.
I've always been the type to just like leave everybody alone. You know,
But the thing,
like Israel has 200 nukes; they'll be fine. They can defend themselves.
I think it's more of a we don't want nukes to go off ever, and I don't think Israel has had 200 nukes probably ever since we gave them.
Yeah,
So the way I see it is Israel obviously is not just going to haul off and fire one at Iran just because.
they're saying that.
Well, that's what they say, and you would hope they wouldn't. But we can't say the same for a country that's never had them either, because we don't know what they would do because they never had that capability. I'd like to sit here and think that just because Iran got them, they wouldn't use them, because I hope nobody would ever use them. But we
But
don't.
why don't we worry about everyone else?
I think
That's what you have to ask yourself.
that's a good question, and I think
I'm not attacking you.
no, I
I'm just-
understand.
this is what I'm just. When I say stuff, it's what I think.
No, yeah,
Like
I get it.
I always have to ask questions. I'm turned into a huge skeptic on something like
Well,
this.
I'm just saying, everyone else that has them, there's treaties in place that says we hope they don't use them, and it's not. I think the Israel-Iran is one of the closest two countries right now to possibly be going to war,
Yeah.
like an actual all-out war. So I think it's kind of the more immediate danger. Whereas, I mean, Russia has a ton too and stuff like that, and I'm sure China's got more than we even know about.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people try to say, like, oh, we're just trying to protect people. But the more we focus on, trying to save Israel, like, what about Africa? People are dying every day.
Yeah.
We're not over there. Like, we're messing around with something that we think might happen. It seems like a big waste of time to me. Like, you can have
We
people,
could-
like, dude, one kid probably sent over a virus and hacked all their shit and ruined. It set them back like a year, apparently, something like that. It set them back
And Iran?
quite a bit. Yeah, they got attacked with that virus back.
Oh,
in, like,
yep, I remember that.
Yeah, dude, one kid could fucking do that.
Well, there's that, and then there's also been like we've been attacking their nuclear scientists too. There's just I want to say it was over the
Pretty sure, didn't we
summer.
assassinate some?
Yeah, well, they didn't know who did it, Steve. We're not sure who did it,
Jesus Christ.
but
That's all fucking suspicious to me.
yeah, and like I said,
To be able to do that, that's crazy. What if China came over here and said your 5,000's fine, and they like made everyone in the group agree that 5,000's okay, and then China got 10,000, and they're like, ha ha.
I mean,
It's the same scenario,
it is.
and I don't know.
And I agree.
go
I think it's just extremely hypocritical to me, and I think you're right there. But sorry.
I mean, dude.
like to
For
say
all I
that.
know, Iran could be fucking bad, and they could as soon as they get it, they launch it.
and
I think that too, but I just think Iran's smarter than that.
Well, I'd hope it's more of a thing of I think it's a why sit around and wait thing. I mean, yeah, anyone that has them now can use them whenever they want to. But it's a more of a why sit around and wait type thing to me as well. If let's say they do use it and Israel didn't attack them and try to ruin their program, and then 1 million people die, like you're gonna look back on that and be pretty upset, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what the death count in other countries are right now, but
Oh, I mean, I'm just saying, in this perspective of these two countries, I'm not trying to bring in other.
I just
ones
don't.
in
I
this.
think it's kind of weird how we have all this crazy technology, yet maybe if we spend all our time working on being able to disable missiles in the air,
Mhm.
which seems entirely plausible,
Should be.
why
With
don't we do that?
We have technology that can make your muscles.
Fuck, we have a fucking rover on Mars, okay? We could just shoot. If they spent as much money worrying about Iran as they did, hiring smart-ass people to create a system that just shoots a laser at it and, like, disintegrates it.
I
in
heard
the
they
air.
used to have something for that back during.
They have the technology, I'm pretty sure.
during the, the Cold War era and stuff when it all kind of started going.
I
on.
almost don't. Here, I'll show you this picture. This is just blowing my mind. This is why I don't trust these guys.
All right.
Look at this.
Oh,
Apparently,
yeah.
this
That
took a lot of research and a lot of time to make.
looks like it.
They're claiming that Iran is at the red line, almost to final stage. I'm so glad that they know we're so stupid that we wouldn't be able to understand it unless he drew a bomb with final stage, second stage, and
With
first
it-
stage.
it
I don't think I would have
ticking down.
understood this whole concept if that guy didn't draw a bomb.
Yep. I wouldn't know that's what we were talking about. But
Dude, I hate shit like that. I
man,
mean, I know
just had
a lot of
thing
people are
too.
dumb, but shit.
What was I gonna say?
Dude, we could debate about Iran and Israel
Oh,
for a
I
really
mean,
long time.
you could go back and forth about probably how. I mean, to me, thinking about it is, I don't think Israel would ever have to shoot a nuke at them unless we told them to. Because
You think they'll attack?
Israel?
Uh huh.
I don't think they'll sit around and wait to be attacked, whether they would or
Do you
not.
think they'll
Whether-
attack when they claim to attack?
I mean, they've both sides been claiming to attack for years and years.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think,
But I mean, he drew a bomb.
he did, and they're almost to the. They're almost. That wick is getting really short. There.
It's almost in the final
That
stage.
fuse is gonna. Yeah, you're right.
It's kind of creepy how they're about to do it before the election.
Well, I think it might be a little better too for
It's just
our
coincidence. though.
for. I think it'd be better for Iran side too. Maybe if they didn't seem like they were lying so much. There's we're building nukes because we're afraid we're gonna get nuked. We like it as a deterrent.
Well, if
just
they
the
said
same-
that, then U.S. would be all over them.
But I mean, what is good? What is this good doing of hiding it and making it seem like you're really doing
Because they
something
feel like
bad?
they need it, man.
Need the
And
nukes or
when
need
everybody,
to hide it?
it would kind of suck if everyone in your classroom had a lollipop and you didn't.
Well, I agree.
And the biggest kid in the classroom said, "You can't have that lollipop."
I mean, I agree. I'm just saying what like
I can't believe I just
like,
described nukes
I
as
mean,
lollipops.
No, it makes sense. That
We
makes
should
sense.
move on to
What-
the next topic. I'm getting too crazy.
I mean, that was a
We don't
good
need
little,
to.
that was a
I
good
don't need
little
CIA
analogy
on my
there,
door. But. All right, the debates are on right now. So I guess my topic was, it was actually in my debate board too. Someone wrote Mike Lemke 2012.
That's right.
That's right. My debate topic was actually a guy. He actually has a lot of credibility. I mean, as far as I can tell, something Duff, and he writes for Veterans Today, and he's kind of controversial, but he made a post recently, just out of the blue, and he said the Chinese Navy is off the coast of California, and the reason why they're off the coast of California is because they're suppressing a hostile, unfriendly UFO in the Pacific. So I'm like, why is he posting something like this out of the blue? Like, his credibility is on the line. And he said the reason why Chinese is over there is because right now the United States Navy and all the other countries' Navy are in the Persian watching Iran and Israel right now.
Right.
So the entire Navy's over there. So that's why they're saying the Chinese Navy's over there. I mean, I've heard other stories. Like, one story was they pulled the drill out of the Earth's floor, I guess, sea floor. BP did, from drilling for oil. And when they pulled it up, a living organism that lives really far down started spilling out. And it's alive. And they're trying to contain it, because it's just pouring out. So that's another reason why they might be there. But I researched for a long time. I'm trying to figure out why are they really over there? Like, they have pictures and stuff, and they have, you can go on a site where it shows numbers of ships in that area, and it breaks it down, and it'll tell you which kind of ships are in that area, and it's crowded over here. You know, it'll tell you if it's like commercial boating, residential, like civilian boating, stuff like that. But I was just trying to figure out why they're over there, because they're not usually right next to the United States. Well, actually, no one really is.
Right.
So to me, it was like, dude, this is kind of creepy. Oh, and then some people think they're staging a UFO attack. And someone laughed when I said that, but then I said, you know, how would you really know if it wasn't? Like, yeah, I mean, drone, you don't see a drone. If a drone just shot a missile at a building and flew away, and the news reporters said UFOs attacked, everybody would fucking believe it.
Well, how are you gonna, how are you really going to disprove it if you didn't see anything?
Yeah. So some people think it's going to be a false flag UFO attack. False flag. I don't know why, because they feel like it might be important.
And I mean, honestly, they've been pushing the idea that aliens are real for quite a while now. Our media has. And, you know, there are enough questions about our history that could point to the fact that maybe there was some kind of extraterrestrial life here at one point. I don't think I've reached a decision about it, because I do agree that there is life elsewhere in the universe. Whether it's here, and right now, I'm not sure. The crazy thing, though, is that, you know, there's the movie 2012 that was talking about the end of the world. There have been multiple movies about aliens. People have watched Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. And all of these things, you watch these extremely biased views and opinions about aliens existing, and pretty soon you're convinced that they are real.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ancient Aliens does a pretty good job of convincing you it's real.
It does.
After you watch that show, you're like, shit.
Right. And so, you know, we are all being exposed to this kind of stuff. All of these reported sightings that people talk about, all of these unidentified flying objects on video camera, it's pretty hard to dispute at times. But there's always another possible explanation for it, and there's no way you can really be conclusive about it when you see something floating in the sky and you don't know what it is. That could just be a military plane. It could be, they have all sorts of stuff we don't know about. But the point is that if they reported that on the news, I wouldn't doubt that so many people would believe it, because A, they're dependent on the big media news sites, right. And they also have heard so much stuff about aliens that they don't know what to believe anymore. So if they hear a credible source such as the news tell them that aliens are real, a lot of people are going to believe that shit, and it could be completely fake.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
that's what I'm saying. How would you know?
Right.
Like, people laugh at it first, but then when you explain, you know, that there's drones over Pakistan right now. They don't see them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it shoots a missile at a building, and
I know,
CNN and all those people are in on it, and they say UFOs attacked. Everyone's going to believe it.
Yeah.
Even the people who are skeptical are going to be like, I told you. And they get their shotguns and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then all of a sudden it's chaos. And it's like, what is higher up than, you know, a terrorist attack? There's only one thing higher than
alien invasion. And if that's the case,
it's coming. That's why we got the globe in the background.
Think about if that did happen, if all the main news stations reported that aliens do exist, that would almost it would make a lot of governments probably collapse. There'd be hysteria, and it would be an incentive for the entire world to come together as one so that it could be governed by one force. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, you know. I mean, but it's a possibility. That's a conspiracy theory, if you will.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. When I read I read the article you sent me about it and kind of the different viewpoints. And before I got down to like really a lot of it, I just started thinking of like why are they there what is the reason for being there? Like I just tried
the Chinese Navy?
Yeah, just really starting to think about it. And then it got to the point where I was kind of just thinking, okay, well, if it's not UFOs or aliens or a different living organism, what are they trying to cover up? That they're diluting the water with this kind of different things.
Yeah, they're making sure nobody knows about why the Chinese Navy is right fucking on our doorstep.
Yeah, and I just thought it was as strange as to like, you know, they obviously don't want to admit if something's going on or if something they missed or just something like that. They don't want to admit, the government will never admit they're wrong. So it just kind of made me start like speculating on if it's not aliens, what
could it be?
What could they possibly be doing that this is going on?
Yeah, I wanted to hear other people's opinions on it. That's why I always ask people about it, because I want to know if they have any information that I didn't think of when I thought about it. So and that's what I just do for other people too. I think that's kind of our job, is to kind of question other people's views, but not get pissed about it.
Well, the thing I thought of too when I was reading your articles, I remember I think it was the summertime, someone from an airplane like took that video of that UFO. I want to say it was over Korea. I don't remember north or south, but yeah, they took a video. Well, you could see like clearly just like this UFO flying right underneath the plane and then just take off.
Did it go into the water?
No.
Okay, because I saw that one, but I didn't think it was real.
No, this one, I think. I mean, anyway, it popped into my head because you were talking over in the Pacific Ocean there and everything. That's kind of where they were at.
Oh, I see.
So that it was just kind of strange to see.
Yeah, there's been theories like there's a base over there, UFO underwater base.
Really?
It's weird because you think about it and it's like some people believe in NWO, New World Order. They're trying to get everyone to team up together. And then you have Ronald Reagan saying the only thing that's going to make countries work together is if UFOs attack. And he said that.
Right.
And now China's, hey, guys, want to hang out and do drills? That's another article. Is the Chinese Navy is doing drills with our Navy. And we never used to fuck around with each other.
No.
We don't, ever. And now the Navy's doing drills together. What are they doing drills for? Is why I ask questions. What are they doing drills for, and why are they doing them together? And why are they off the coast of California right now? They shouldn't be.
For its pristine beaches.
They're checking out the chicks or something. I don't know. I like to think about it, I guess. And I found another article that they're getting ready to do a practice drill of earthquakes.
Yeah, I saw that too.
On the entire West Coast. Like, what? Like, there's just weird stuff.
Even Alaska was in on it, too.
They're doing practice zombie drills, too, over there.
MSU had
They're having a big
class.
thing where people are going to be practicing earthquake drills, but they're like, we're going to throw zombie drills in there and make it more fun.
You see the MSU, they had a summer class about, like, surviving a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, like, there's more classes about it now. And I'm like, some of them might be just because of that incident that happened, but these people actually went out and hired and got a bunch of people to dress up like zombies and run around and cause chaos to actually practice. I'm like, why? Why? If it's not going to happen, why are you doing it?
Right.
So it's on the discussion board on our blog, younglifeperception.wordpress.com. It's the controversial debate board. So if you guys want to leave your own opinions on what's going on with that, I would appreciate that, because I'm trying to start, a series. And then Cody's going to start his own series too. So we're going to be trying to build those up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're on to topic number 4, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm supposed to be typing in the topics on here. Next one is climate change.
Yeah, it's about climate change.
change.
It's actually about 20 different governments did a report, and it concluded that 100 million people will die by 2030 if we fail to address the climate changes that we have at hand as of right now. It's, we've been getting this average temperature rise over time because of all of our greenhouse gas emissions from burning fossil fuels through oil, through all the gas we use. I mean, you look at this average American, the average American has a car, or at least one person in a family has a car, and there's 300 and some million people in the U.S. So that's a shit ton of cars. And all of that is burning these fossil fuels up into the air, creating these gases that hold in heat, and it's making our average temperature per year rise. Some of the effects that this has had on our planet, our ice caps have been melting, there's been extreme weather, droughts, rising sea levels, and all of these are threatening to humans in a lot of different places. Extreme weather, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, all of these things are deadly to humans. Rising sea levels, that probably has something to do with the extreme weather that we're having. It all intersects.
It can, it can change like jet stream, like streams. I don't know what they're really called. Air streams that bring warm air and bring it to
like
certain
fronts.
spots. Yeah, it could change like if the tide moves, it screws up all the front. Like, I don't know if they're called fronts. I feel kind of stupid right now for not knowing what it is, but I mean, they're like streams. They're like well-known streams that bring in cool air and warm air in certain spots, and they've been that way for a while. And if you're fucking around with those,
Yeah, something's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually have some stats too. 5 million deaths occur each year from air pollution, hunger, and disease. And from those right there, those are just the ones that result from climate change and carbon-intensive economies. And more than 90% of those deaths are going to happen in developing countries, that don't have all the medical care that we have. It's almost like developing countries are being punished for our use of all of these fossil fuels because we want to get from point A to point B 10 times as fast.
Mm-hmm. And people think that it's not cars that are fucking things up, but there's it's getting to the point where almost everyone has a fucking car,
Right, yeah, at least in the U.S.
Yeah, and other countries, some other, England, places like that, they all have cars too. So it's not that it's cars, but a large number of people having cars, and it's like people don't even walk anywhere anymore.
Right.
I could have a grocery store right next door, and people would still fucking drive. Like, I would probably still drive there.
And this is actually really serious, too. I mean, Al Gore went around, and he was talking about it a long time ago, and everybody was laughing at him, talking about how it wasn't true. But the effects of climate change have already lowered the global output by 1.6%. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's equivalent to $1.2 trillion a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's another stat, too. A rise of 2 to 3 degrees Celsius over the next 50 years will decrease the average consumption of a human by 20% worldwide.
Wow.
If it rises...
Well, that might be good for us, but...
Yeah, right?
Not other countries.
Exactly.
No, it's terrible.
I mean, that is just crazy, man. It lowered the global output by 1.6%. $1.2 trillion just from the climate effects we've had so far. And people,
what's the predictions for like 10 years, or like how's it growing?
how
Like the amount of CO2 and shit. Did they say anything about that?
No, they didn't say anything about how fast that was growing, but they just emphasized the fact that the more of those greenhouse gases that get pumped into the air, it basically saturates the the atmosphere. And what it does is all those gases just hold heat in. And over time, it holds more and more heat in as our atmosphere keeps getting filled up with more and more of these gases. It's almost like an actual...
Well, yeah, like the gases
Yeah.
can't escape the atmosphere. So
Right.
they stay in, and then the sun heats those gases up, and it brings, I mean...
And it allows sunlight to come through and turn into heat, but then it doesn't allow the heat to escape. Because when sunlight hits our Earth, it turns into energy, or in other words, heat, and then the heat can't escape. So the greenhouse gases help hold all of that in. And, I mean, people just, they don't care. They aren't aware of the situation. A lot of people aren't, I should say. A lot of people aren't aware of it. And that's just sad to think. 100 million people could die by 2030 because we fail to acknowledge that there are climate changes and climate shifts.
Right.
I swear this is Dylan who said this shit. Talking about cars, how did you guys get to this podcast today? Let me guess, a car. Yeah, fuck you. I rode my bike. Yeah, what now? I rode my bike here. I'm just kidding. I didn't ride my bike
I
here.
mean, I don't really feel like we're trying to bash people using cars.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But that's, 300 million people with cars. I mean, not everybody has a car, obviously, but a lot of people do.
Shit, people
think
don't
it-
even carpool anymore.
Right.
So
I think it's just crazy you say by 2030?
Yeah.
30. That's a little over 15 years away.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's just crazy to think about, especially when, like we were talking about this in one of my classes the other day, but we were talking about how Back to the Future, how they had it, I think the year was 2015 when they go to the future and they had all the like flying cars and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, obviously we're not that far into our technology, and it's not that far 2000. So 15 years really, we can see how little or we can or can't advance.
Mm-hmm.
And so it scares me to think about in 15 years, are we going to advance enough to save 100 million lives
Right.
just from heat and stuff like that? I mean, we're having
no,
issues.
we're not. We're too worried about Iran getting a nuke, okay? Screw 100 million people. We're trying to save Israel, okay? I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, I like, to me, it's just,
You can't have brain farts on this podcast.
I know.
Yep,
I'm
we
really-
lost all our
I'm-
viewers. Way to go.
really,
Just kidding.
it's my fault. I apologize.
They all left.
That's fast.
I guess the way I think about it is possible for us to grow too fast with our technology.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you just boot it on out there as fast as you can without doing any studies or trying to make it as efficient as possible. You're just trying to get the car out there as quick as possible. And soon you make it to the point where it's easy for everyone to get one, so then everyone has one. And, you know, you look at my house, there's 4 cars in the driveway. And that's probably the same as a lot of other people. You know, teenagers have their own cars and the parents have their own cars.
Right.
You know, so now it's getting to the point where it's like 4 cars at a house, each house. That's a lot of fucking cars.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, someone said, "Who's the rat in the middle?" You know, that's Dylan. Or maybe it was, I don't think Kevin would say rat. I'm pretty sure only Dylan would say rat.
Shelby might.
Shelby. I forgot where I was going. I mean, you know how the Earth can like adjust accordingly to like how we,
Well, it has
we do
for
things.
millions of
It's
years.
done it for a long time, but we know it takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And if we grow too fast, it's not going to be able to catch up. And you have to think about that. And people who are just like, this isn't happening, climate change is just, I can't remember who says this, some stubborn person. Climate change isn't real. They already proved that wrong. That's just what was Al Gore, a Democrat?
I don't remember.
Jeez.
I think he was. I'm pretty sure he wasn't Republican. It's just, people turn it political, and they're just like,
Yeah,
it's
he
not
was
real, it's
Democrat.
just a ploy from the Democrats. Like, dude, seriously?
Right.
Like, why do you think about parties? Just think for yourself for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it.
Why would we think for ourselves when people can
I
tell us
guess
how
not.
to think?
I have a picture that I want to show.
I mean, like you said,
Some kid said, how do you guys feel about the presidential debate going on right now? I can't tell if that's sarcastic or if that's a real question. Because we're not watching it.
No.
I checked it out for a second while we were recording, and they have 21,000 people watching on Ustream.
Damn.
Oh, he's serious. Or she's serious. I don't know who it is. Just thoughts. They want our thoughts on it. Well,
Okay.
I could sum up my thoughts in a sentence probably. You could learn more from our debate than you could from their debate. You're not going to learn shit. You're just going to hear people throwing out promises, false promises, the entire debate. And you're probably not going to be able to tell which one's which. You'll probably forget which one's Obama and which one's Romney and who's Republican and who's Democrat because they're the same.
Yeah,
And they act the same.
we're not trying to really make people like us, so vote for us. So I think our debate will be a little more real and get questions answered.
When I say real, I just mean like we're talking about information that matters, and they could easily do that. Romney could easily come out and say, instead of, we need to take care of Iran, and then smile and like wink at some chick in the audience. He could say how he's gonna do it, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's just like every time you watch a debate, it's just you have a minute, go. And it's just like you just pull on a lever and Romney spits out a slogan line. And whoever does the better job with slogans and promises wins. And it's like, it doesn't even matter. It's not even really a debate anymore.
And what's crazy about it is that the most important thing for a politician is to be able to speak well. Because if you can speak well and you sound educated and you make certain points in an eloquent way, people are naturally going to be like, that sounds right. That sounds great.
It's funny how people do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like somebody put
It's body
something
language,
eloquently. Yeah. I mean, it's more than just what they're saying. It's how they say it, how they present themselves, how they're dressed, how they react to people's questions to them. Every single thing about their demeanor influences whether somebody wants to vote for them or not.
So I guess we don't hate politicians. We hate the guy or girl, whoever created the idea of you don't really have to say things right. Just say them
Yeah.
this way.
I don't know
Right.
why
And
it
people,
turned it.
and people will like you.
Right.
It's gotten to the point where they're so afraid of being real and people overreacting to what they say. Like Ron Paul's real and people freak the fuck out. They'll hear him say like one word that like it's just like a bad word and they won't let him finish what he's trying to say. Like, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And they'll say it all over Twitter because he told the truth. So politicians have to sugarcoat everything to the point where it's not even real anymore. Like you
Right.
listen to a speech or a debate, and I just see right through all of it. I just see a person saying, I watch Obama because Obama is a really good speaker. I admit that.
I don't
He makes
doubt
me
that at
feel
all.
great when I watch him.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, this guy's awesome.
He's truly inspiring. He really is.
But I listen to everything he's saying, and I'm like, you did not give us anything. You didn't give us any reason why. There's no reason why I should be like, hell yeah, let's do it. Because he's just like, we need to fix the education system. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time,
And then
But we'll get there.
but we'll get there. I just need 4 more years.
through your support and
And it's like, I'm not
dedication.
Republican or
Yeah.
Democrat. I just bash who's ever in office right now because that's our leader. And he's got to take, or she has to take responsibility. And if you listen to his speech, it's just a bunch of that. And we can't fall for that shit anymore because it's not working. And he does some pretty shady shit. We won't get into any of that. You can just search it. Search NDAA and you'll know all about that. It's shady, you know? And honestly, I would pay money to like a lot of money to see Ralph Nader, Governor Gary Johnson, and Ron Paul just have a debate. I'm pretty sure they would just be like, it would be a debate on how to make their ideas that they already have much better because they already know what they want to do. And they've already explained for 30-something years, Ron Paul, like exactly what he would do when he gets into office. He doesn't go, we need to fix our banking system. And everybody claps. He tells you exactly how he's going to do it. And it's like, I don't understand that
And
at all.
it seems like the people who make it into power are the ones who are willing to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
You're willing to say all the things that you need to say to get you to where you want to be. And it seems like the people who get funded large amounts of money by large parties are the people who feel like having this person in power is going to benefit them. But they better, for sure, follow the damn rules, because if they don't, then all that money is being wasted. So it's like the president almost seems like a pawn in some cases, because the government really, the president has the ultimate say in what goes, but you have everybody underneath him and then all the American people, and people don't realize how powerful they are collectively.
Mm-hmm.
If you all come together, you are a bigger force than the government. You can overthrow anything. And didn't our founding fathers always say, if the government starts to take too much control, the people need to come together and they need to overthrow it so that they can.
They need to rise up.
They need to rise up
because
and challenge
people who
it.
ignore it don't deserve freedom, is what they said.
Yeah.
If you ignore it and let it go, and you let them, if you give them away, which is what we're doing,
Give rights away.
yeah, then you don't deserve to have them.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now. And people are really, they're just blind to it.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't want to admit that they made a mistake. Like, you go up to someone who voted for Obama, and they'll be like, yeah, they're kind of messing up, But I would vote for him again. They just have, like, this ego about it. It's like, dude, just take a chance and vote on someone different than a Republican or a Democrat. Just if people think it's a waste.
I feel like that's what they thought they were doing when they voted for Obama. With
yeah, I
the
mean,
whole
I
change
had a feeling he was
campaign
going to
and-
win, and I hoped he would change some things.
I mean, I think we all did. We all wanted to see something different. We wanted to see something new. But
I didn't want to see him in office, but once he got in, I was like, I really hope you do something.
I'm to the point, I don't think it really matters I think we need to put a guy in there that has no corporation or any sort of background with any of those people.
Mm-hmm.
You just put a random person in there that has just some random person off the street. I feel like they could do a better job.
They probably could.
Like, that's terrible to say, but that has no influences from the big corporations who are paying bunches of money for, so they
you
can
get some random
so they
person
can
off the
pollute
streets.
more or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of says a lot when Noam Chomsky, he's an MIT political science professor. Okay, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't argue with someone who's an MIT political science professor, and he says it's all just a big game.
You argue with everybody, Steven. You might
I do?
it. Yeah, it was a joke.
Oh, oh, okay.
I didn't think you'd actually.
I'm in debate mode right now.
I didn't think you'd actually take it seriously. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
All right, man. I'm sorry.
But anyway, where were you going?
All right. Well, I kind of forgot.
MIT
Okay.
professor.
Oh yeah, Noam Chomsky. I'm pretty sure I'm saying it right. He said it's all a big game, and he goes in and tries to find things.
That's what I was just saying.
Yeah.
Seems like it's all a big game.
Yeah, he says how can you? What I'm saying is, like, how can you argue with someone who's an MIT professor and studies this kind of stuff?
Right. For fun, probably.
Some people don't even know
Right.
that he's against all of it. He's against Obama right now, and he's against how the system works. I think it's a system that was made for the wrong period, It's not, we don't want two choices right now, okay? It shouldn't be like that anymore. And people are like, well, there's more than two choices. No, you have to make it fair. It can't be about
Money.
how much money they get and how much press coverage they get. You'll see Newt Gingrich fat face, all over the media, but you won't ever see Ron Paul. It's like,
Right.
dude, make it fair. Like, what the hell? What
Right.
is this? Like, you're creating the outcome you want, and that's really what. And I think it's funny how Romney was doing such a great job, and people were loving him, and then as soon as he beats out Ron Paul and everyone else, he starts fucking up. It's like, dude, were you hired by Democrats to get in there and beat everyone else out
Right.
and then fuck up? That's what I think it is, and that, honestly, I don't even like talking about politics because it just upsets me.
Oh.
And it pisses me off.
And no system is ever going to be created that's perfect by humans because we're imperfect creatures. At the same time, we have to look at it as this political system was formed a long time ago. like around 1776.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been 250 plus years since this, was even applicable to our time. And now we have the internet, we have cars, we have so many
So much
different
technology.
things.
It's-
So much technology. It's not the same time anymore. And I feel like with the minds we have today, we could come up with a system that works for today. The problem is that people want to rely on what they know has worked so far. They're scared of change. They don't want to see what's going to happen if we switch some things up for the better.
Right.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, like not only are you using this system that's been put in place, you're erasing all the rules for that system.
Right.
People are erasing, all these rules. I don't know how to say it. I mean, they're rules for that kind of system. And presidents are just wiping them out with Patriot Act and with NDAA and things like that. They're taking away our rights that were put into place so government wouldn't get a bunch of power and take over a bunch of shit. And I think some people are like, oh, we want more government control. I mean, I've never said that it's bad to have government control or some government program. We need some. Like, they have to help us. They're there to protect us. They're not there to say you might be a terrorist. We're throwing you in prison now.
And then we'll take your tax dollars too.
And now you don't get a trial. I'm pretty sure like that's a big thing in the United States is you get a trial. Isn't that what made us like a great country? Is that we gave everyone a chance? We put them through a system,
Innocent
a jury.
until proven guilty.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, man. I highly recommend everyone looks up that. I told you about NDAA.
Oh yeah.
Told you about NDAA. I recommend everyone looks that up and research, like puts in some time and tries to look at it and don't go to like CNN either because, well, first of all, you won't find it on CNN because they won't talk about it, and it's kind of crazy that
they might lose some money if they talk about it.
Apparently, like it's all the amateur journalists and things like that are talking about it. It's no mainstream media site or anything or on TV talking about it at all. I went up to a Grant, the most hardcore Republican you'd ever meet at our gym. He didn't even know about it. NDAA. I'm like, you're a Republican and you don't even know about this. This is like the one thing that Republican would slam him on hard, and you have no idea what it is. And it's because, why? Because he never goes online and looks at that stuff. He always looks at the news on TV. It's like
Fox.
He watches Fox
All the time.
You think Fox would mention it, since they're really hardcore
You probably got to buy
Republican.
Rush Limbaugh's
That's what I'm
new
saying.
book
That's
for
just
that.
creepy to me. Like something that powerful and they're not even talking about it. But I have to show this picture of climate change before I forget.
Yeah, we kind
Look at that.
Yeah.
Kind of went way off topic there. Didn't
Yeah,
we?
we were answering a
We were-
question.
Oh,
We'll
no,
go to
yeah.
your topic next.
No,
for
no,
sure.
I am all for it.
It says
I love-
stop
I love the
climate change
questions.
before
Yeah.
it changes you. And it's a picture of like a human looking up, but his face is morphed into a fish like face.
What is it?
It's like a human wearing a shitty ass shirt. I don't know why you would wear that when you look like a fish, but he looks human. Looks like he's bald, has hair right here, but as it comes further, it turns more into a fish.
Oh yeah,
They did a really good job of making it look real.
nice.
And people laugh at that, but you give it like a million years, we could look like that if
Right.
temperatures increase and
Right.
everything floods.
Yeah.
We might look like fish.
Might have to be.
All right, so our next topic was Facebook, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just stuff to do with Facebook. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Really, it was about. I've got stuff on the security. A lot of people, they have issues with the privacy, which we can get into. My main thing is the sort of the future of Facebook and like what they're kind of doing with their company, really, as of right now. I just want to know what their purpose has been for some of the recent, especially with their IPO and a lot of their new government contracts and their new security, some of the security things. Like I've just taken one of their privacy policy just states that they will basically share any of your information because they can if they
To
feel
the
it.
FBI.
They have. We may also share info when we have a good faith belief it is necessary to prevent. And it goes on.
I hate broad language like that.
Like what does that mean?
I hate when people aren't specific.
Yeah.
Because isn't that the whole point of one of those is to be specific? That sounds not specific at all.
And then turn it a little bit, and then it won't fall forward.
I gotcha.
There you go.
It's all right. We just lost 3 more viewers.
They went to a commercial.
I'm really killing this
It'll pop back.
podcast. But so really, I was just kind of getting into that, and I just want to see what people kind of thought about Facebook because I know people. I mean, obviously, I use Facebook. People love Facebook, but I just wanted to hear kind of why and like what they think the company is going to be doing for a while because.
You want to hear like thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, to me, when a company comes, I was watching a video the other day about, and it was stating why a company would do an IPO, and it stated a few things. One about how companies do it; they want to earn profit, and generate revenue. Obviously, that's why they sell stock in their company. But the question is kind of why, and they have to like obviously generate revenue to reinvest, or just to have more money for the company. Liquidity was one of them they had, obviously. But then one they kind of skipped over was one that I kind of see being important is a company would sell stock because they're not generating profits, and they don't know if they can in the future.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of interesting topic to me. Because
Do you want that lower?
I don't know.
I just don't need you to like trying to go like this and talk into it.
Is this better?
Yeah, you look great. You look good.
All right.
I might even zoom in on you.
Ooh.
Close
I'm
up.
doing it.
Ooh.
But anyway, so I was just kind of getting back to like what everyone saw is how Facebook was advancing themselves in the future and what their possible uses could be for everything. Or what you guys thought about it, I guess. Stir up a nice little debate.
It's a good, yeah.
Well, what's crazy, Steve was telling me the other day about how MySpace is trying to make a comeback.
Right.
And you were just talking about how they're selling stocks because, you know, a lot of times the business will do that because they don't know if it's going to be possible for them to make profits in the future.
Right.
I wonder if they're scared of what MySpace has now because MySpace kind of died for a little bit.
Right.
But if they're coming back with something that's bigger and badder than Facebook and
Justin
they're going to...
Timberlake.
And they seem to have waited to the perfect moment to get ready to release it.
Facebook
I mean,
starts-
Twitter's getting ready to fucking kill them. I think MySpace is just going to fucking end it. It's just going to... MySpace is going to be the finisher.
You
For
think
the
so?
time being.
Because Facebook always claims that people are still using it, but the only thing they do to claim that people are still using it is they release how many people have accounts. First of all, you can't delete your fucking account. You can only deactivate it. So how do we know those numbers are even real?
They're supposed to have now, what I read, they're supposed to have something that says you can also permanently delete. But I know
It's weird how they don't have that.
I was looking through it, and I just saw the, like, decommission your account. I mean, I was on my phone, so it was a little different. But, yeah.
They changed
But,
it.
well, what it does is, and that was kind of one of the big issues, is you do that to your account, and then say you want it back. You can get it back, and it just goes right back to like you were never even
Which
gone.
means they still have it.
Yeah, they kept all your information.
That's
all
what
that stuff
creeps me
sat
out.
there.
You delete a MySpace profile, it's gone.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they still could hold on to it, but come on, don't be so obvious that you're holding on to it.
We didn't. Not that I remember. I mean, I was obviously younger than I am now when I had the MySpace and stuff, but
It was the shit.
well, Facebook got into a lot of issues too of selling. I don't know if I took down exactly. They were selling information and stuff to like third parties, and I don't know what the information was, but either way, that's just they're selling it. And then they took that. They had a little clause in there that said they would never do that, and then they ended up taking it out a little later on.
Earlier, you were talking about the influence that corporations can have on people when we were talking about the presidential candidates.
Yeah.
And think about the influence that these corporations have on places or, you know, websites like Facebook or MySpace, or they see this huge crowd of people that they could potentially sell their product to, and they see dollar signs in their future if they can get that. You're going to have some very powerful people with not always good intentions going to places like this. And if they find even one thing that they can use to take their thumb and press down on the owner of that company just to kind of put the heat on them, they're going to do that. And I think that's very shady that they would sell information to third parties for money.
Right.
You know, that's selling people's information that trust your website, and then you just turn around and say, guess what? We're making some money. But who knows the forces that were behind that transaction.
Right. And then,
Your thoughts, 1 minute. Go.
What?
On the mediator.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Monkey, rebuttal. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Time's up.
Yeah, it does feel like a real debate now. Yeah, exactly. And who knows what they're actually doing that we just haven't even caught yet either. That I mean, they went through lawsuits and stuff, so they're not supposed to be doing it now. And obviously, they don't want to be portrayed as doing that because they lose people's trust that way. And it makes them look bad. But then there's also things like I read. These are kind of to go back to like the information, having the information there and stuff is. They've helped out with a lot of criminal investigations, and they're able to turn over all of your info except for your private unopened messages for the first 181 days, which they need a special warrant for, which I can see helping, but at the same time, it depends who gets a hold of that type of thing. I mean, if the government comes in and they're like, you know, we kind of want to take a look at this person's personal information and see what we've been up to, they can if they really feel the need, especially with, like you said, the new NDA. That's the first thing I thought of too. If they suspect you of being a terrorist, we have reason to believe that we think you're doing something shady you shouldn't be, so we're going to look through all your stuff. And they can't, I mean, how many of you just leave unopened messages? And I mean, they pop up right to your phone now. As soon as you click on it, that's opened. So what's the point of having, to me, unless you've decommissioned your account or something, it's just sitting there. Odds are you don't have any unopened messages.
Right.
So to me, I thought that was a little strange, but it gets back to, a lot of it loops back to me anyway, of why the company felt the need to start selling off their ownership of stuff. And I just wonder, like, maybe they got tired of all the lawsuits and the issues with that may have brought it up. And
yeah, I didn't really follow the IPO too much. I heard it's doing shitty.
Oh, okay. I got a stat on that. Retail investors, which are just your general non-corporations, like if me and you were to buy Facebook stock, they've lost $630 million overall, just on since the release of the.
So it shot up because everyone was buying it, but then everyone realized it was shit, so they sold.
Well, the thing to me, and kind of made me think about it too, is Facebook makes. Where's that one at? 82%. Excuse me. 82% of their revenue from this year is generally coming from advertising profits, and that is down 85 in 2011 and 95% in 2010, which is pure advertisements. So that's clearly how they make their money. Well, I don't remember.
Down 95%?
No. That's what it was at. Like 95% of the money they made. No, it went down. Like now they only get 82% of their revenue from advertisements.
Oh, I see.
So, and which is, you know, they've branched out. They've gotten a lot of the little games and stuff you can play and buy stuff through Facebook on there. So that they're kind of trying to diversify where they make money from, which makes sense. Any company should. But what stood out to me was, I don't know how long before the IPO. I want to say like a week before the IPO came out. GM, one of their big advertisers, just dropped them. We're not advertising through you anymore.
Wow.
So what went on that GM was like, yeah, you're about to get the most publicity ever. We're gonna stop now.
That is weird. I didn't follow that, so I have no idea. Like,
see, I followed it a lot because it was something that interests me. Because first of all, Mark Zuckerberg has put out this kind of general idea of that he doesn't really care about money. He just
that's how he was in the beginning. That's for sure.
He loved his company and he loved the idea of what he created. Why is he selling it now? What made him want to sell? And then I mean he had meetings about he was supposed to go to, didn't show up. So it's like
I think Cody's kind of right when he said corporations were trying to get in there and try to get some influence on Mark, and he just finally.
Well, that was the thing, you know.
He gave up and was like, "All right,
all those guys,
do what you want to do." And
I'm not standing up.
A bunch of thugs came in.
I'm not standing up for Mark Zuckerberg really, but I don't really blame him at the same time. You got these people like I'm selling my company off. I don't care about the money. I mean, yeah, he made like $10 billion or some crazy amount of money, but he already had 26. He's worth $26 billion.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he really cared about the money
I don't
at
think
that point.
no, I don't think he did, and I think he hated the idea of selling off what he created. But I was just I don't know. I was just curious to why this person who doesn't care about money and cares about his company a lot would want to sell it off. Again, back to
I think it's creepy. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying back to what's the point of doing all this? Like,
So you want the debate to kind of be about the whole IPO
oh,
thing.
dude, I got all kinds of different things we can go off of on this.
I mean,
but
when I first signed up for Facebook, I thought it was great. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could go back to what it looked like the first time I was
Before
on
the
there.
timeline
No
and
ads,
everything.
no Farmville requests. I'm like, dude, none of this bullshit popping up to buy.
Right.
And he was like, I don't want any of this stuff. So I'm sure people were knocking on his door the whole time. Can we advertise? Can we advertise? And he was smart. He built it up first and then was like, all right, I'm going to pick who can advertise on here. And he slowly brought him in. I mean, now it's like, I don't know if he has an obsession with everybody knowing everyone or if he's just trying to save Facebook because he's adding so much shit. Like, if you look at how much shit he added back in the day and how much shit he's added now, he's probably added more shit within a month than he did for 4 years because he went and bought Instagram. And then
that was
then
right
he took,
around IPO time too.
Yeah, he took Instagram and made it so you can't import Twitter contacts. You fucking douche. Just takes that feature off. Yeah, because he knows Twitter's taking over and kicking his ass out of social media, just like he did to Facebook.
I think I might be wrong here, but I think he also tried to buy Twitter
Like he did
at
to
one
MySpace.
point.
Yeah, like he did to MySpace.
Yeah, I want to say I thought I remember reading that he tried to buy Twitter.
I could see him doing that,
but I'm not.
To me, he's creepy.
I don't think that happened.
And I think there was one interview where he was like, if you don't have a Facebook, well, you will. And he like started laughing. And I was just like, people don't have to have one. Jesus. And like now you log in and it's
Did he
like,
tell that to China?
dude, now you log in and it's like, so-and-so saw your message. And it gives you a little check mark. Like now it's like, you know when people see your message. Like we don't need all that stuff. We don't need all these little chats and video chats.
Is that for us though, or for certain things within that we don't even know about? Like me,
business? So now Bob gets fired because he didn't check his Facebook message.
Well,
or, I mean, he did, but he didn't respond.
Even bigger.
Bob, I saw a check mark. You're fired.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, that's stupid, man. People shouldn't be using Facebook for that.
Yeah, and I mean, even with the whole, you know, they've had issues with the like especially with I just don't get why they felt the need to have like so much of the government monitoring in here too. So I almost wonder if that's kind of a thing. Like I don't want to think it is because I'd hate to think that, you know, the government can use Facebook to watch over me literally all the time.
That's a good point because Twitter is known for not wanting to give away people's stuff. I hope they don't ever do it, but right now they don't do that stuff. They don't give away your information.
I can see the government coming in and being like, "Hey Mark, let's talk for a minute." Well, we think that there may have been some terrorist activity on Facebook, so we're going to have to take that over.
Yeah, and they might even
actually
Instagram, we're going to need to see that too.
Well, they don't want to seem like the bad guys. So what they might have done, I mean, just from some of the stuff I was reading, what they could have done is walk in and be like, "Yeah, there was really some terrorist issues on your website, and we didn't really like it, and it caused people to die. So we're gonna have to bring you in for questioning." Or
he got all sweaty.
Yeah, he got really sweaty. Or you can help us out here. Like, you know, they kind of gave him that either or, but the either or the or,
almost like extortion.
Yeah.
Like
so which
blackmail.
I mean, which would suck to think, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense of why he didn't really care about the IPO. Maybe the IPO is just kind of this cover up to get some foots in the door on our. I mean, you know, when you update a status now, it asks where are you at. What do you care where I'm at?
Right.
I mean, it's cool, I guess, to see, but like
I brought up the picture of him sweaty.
Really?
While we're talking about it.
Seriously,
why are you guys here? Why is the FBI here?
He just showed me that. He just showed me that interview. If you never watched that, search that. Mark Zuckerberg sweating during an
Sweaty
interview.
interview.
Oh man, it's hilarious.
They ask him about privacy issues, and he gets all sweaty. I wonder why. Dude, it's just getting sick. I mean, now you can have favorite friends. The fact that I can favorite Cody on Facebook and have all his statuses sent to my phone in a text message is just fucking ridiculous. You don't need any of that stuff. Facebook was working just fine the way it was, and now he's just getting really creepy. And if you listen to what Mark Zuckerberg says, he's all about making the world more social and connected. And I think when you're a businessman and you think about your idea for a long time in the basement and obsess over it, you could turn into an insane person where you're going too far because he's in love with his idea and he's pushing privacy away. He's pushing privacy out of people's lives because he's obsessed with his idea. And I don't know if it's because he's turning into a psycho or if he's trying to save Facebook. That's the only thing I can't figure out.
Right.
If he's just throwing out all this creepy shit because he knows it's about to end, and that's why he did the IPO and things like that, because he knows he's going to end up being dead and not making any money. I mean, that happens to everyone, you know?
Yeah. See, it's so strange to me, the whole Facebook. I feel you could debate literally anything about it you wanted to.
Yeah,
versus
it did get pretty big.
Privacy issues versus, what needs to be on there, what doesn't, or why they did the IPO, or how they make their money. You can argue any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's been such weird indicators, especially around the IPO, that make you have to really dive into what's really going on with Facebook.
Yeah.
To me, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up, especially since the first 3 months of this year alone, they made about $872 million. And last year their profits were $3.7 billion. So I mean, obviously they're making some sort of money now. But I don't get why they need what are they planning for that they need to make $10 billion? I
don't know. Cody, what's your thoughts?
Yeah.
On what they're trying to build their money up for?
Well, yeah.
What do you think's going on with it? You think they're just dying out and they're just trying to save it, or what?
It's really hard to say, man. There's so many forces behind the curtain that we don't even know about.
Well, exactly.
And,
too. That's
that's the biggest thing. And even if you think you know, you don't. Like it's something that probably a very select few people know. I'm not sure if he's just trying to save it or if he is actually tied up in some crazier shit, because I've never been at a point where I'm making billions of dollars a year. But when you reach that status, that level of power and that level of wealth, you're going to come across some people who are very shady with the same amount of money as you. And you're going to have power players up at that level that don't really care about your well-being. They care about their pocketbook and how much money's in their bank account, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, so like you can be super rich, super successful, super famous, but that doesn't mean you're not a sociopath who doesn't care about anybody else, who just does whatever it takes to make money, and you can find the most sleazy, legal way to do something, find a loophole you can jump through in order to make millions of dollars, even if it puts millions of other people at a disadvantage. You look at Bernie Madoff, who stole over $50 billion from old retired people, just took their savings. I mean, there's people like
do
that.
Some dumb shit.
Yeah, there's people like that all over the place, and it wouldn't surprise me if one of them got to Mark Zuckerberg and ended up doing one thing that Mark was just like, you know what, this is not even cool anymore. Like, I can't be a part of this. I'm going to start trying to sell this off or do whatever it takes, get into bed with whatever people it takes for me to just get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
Maybe he should just close it down.
I would, if it like you said, we don't really know, but I think it'd come down to whether it's truly something he created. I don't think he wants to close it down. But I'd also like to think the guy's actually smart enough that if he had to do it, he could. And I mean, it would suck. Like, I'd hate not having a Facebook too. But at the same time,
I wouldn't mind at all.
I mean, it'd take a little bit. I guess I'd just be like, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, if my life's getting threatened over this, like, what's it really worth trying to push my idea through? Or, am I in immediate harm or danger of something bad happening to me? Which we don't, like you said, we don't really know what's going on. Or
yeah, as soon as someone threatens your life, you'd be doing a lot of things that you don't want to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you could say, I could argue that, Twitter hasn't done it yet, but they're not as big as Facebook got yet. So,
Yeah, it's the key.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
think we've ever seen something as like with the same idea as big as Facebook got. So
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's a
what I'm
whole
saying.
new
Like,
idea
there's-
to us. That's
Yeah.
why we haven't seen. We can't really tell for sure what they're doing or why they're doing it because we've never seen something quite like it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to go the route it's going to go on its own, no matter how much money you throw at it or anything like that. Because in the end, it comes down to who's using it. And I honestly feel like people are just people get on and update things, but they're not sitting on it like they used to. You used to see people sitting
Mm-hmm.
on
Oh, yeah.
Facebook. Now people are sitting on Twitter.
Well, that
And-
was. I'm sorry. I
No,
don't mean
go
to
ahead.
cut you
It's
off,
fine.
but
You're the
I
guest.
just thought of this and I don't want to lose it. Like they used to announce a lot, like you were saying, the average like time people spent on the website, especially when they first started, because it used to be crazy high.
Yeah.
And then after a while, it started diminishing and diminishing. And now I'm just wondering what the point is and like how that works out. 'Cause, I mean, now I usually do it on my phone. I'm on there for like 3 to 5 minutes and that's it.
Yeah, you scroll through the feed.
Yep.
You
Then I'm
post
done.
something maybe.
So they go from the average time users spend on here, like, when they probably used to pitch to advertisers, the average time users spend on here is 2 hours a day doing all their stuff. Well, now it's 5 minutes. So how good does that look for especially advertisers?
Did they actually release it?
I mean, I don't know if that's
I don't think they
actually-
are. Every time I see an article, it's like Facebook's not dying.
Well,
it's
no.
just an illusion, and they just say how many accounts.
Well, yeah,
people
and
have.
well, that's what I'm saying. They don't really publish it anymore because it went from 2 hours. Now it's
Yeah.
5 minutes. So why would they say? Well,
Oh, I was just adding on to
want,
yours.
We really want you to invest $300 million into advertisements for us. I mean, that's a crazy high number. We'll say okay, $5 million to advertise for us, but the average users probably won't even see it because they're not even on there that long.
Right.
So
and it's kind of annoying.
and
too.
actually, do you even really get advertisements on your phone app?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think you. I don't remember any.
I know
popping
that
up.
it tracks what you like and stuff, and then advertise those things to you, which I
Okay.
kind of hate too.
Yeah, they had issues with that as well. Some legal issues.
I mean, they're gonna go through and clean up all the fake likes now. That apparently a bunch of pages are getting fake likes, and it's like, well, why don't you let us know how many fake accounts there are? 'Cause I'm sure there's plenty of those
Oh,
too, or
yeah.
inactive accounts, things
Yeah.
like that. The thing that's really creepy is you just can't delete it. It's always going to be there. And I don't know if you've gone through the process. He made it 10 times harder to delete friends, which is creepy. And he made it a lot more painful, like delete or deactivating your account. I mean, come on. He puts pictures of Mike, Cody, Dylan, all above the page, and they go, Mike will miss you, Cody will miss you.
Yeah.
As you're trying to deactivate, you're like, what the fuck? He's right next door. I'll go see him if he misses me,
right.
And it's like, and then you have to answer a questionnaire on why you're leaving.
Yep.
So you'll say, I'm getting bullied. You'll click on that, and they'll be like, well, you can do this if you're getting bullied. You can do that. And it's just like, just let me fucking deactivate it, So adding those things to me made me hate it even more. And now all these girls are complaining because it takes an hour to delete like 20 people now, the way they have it set up.
That's crazy.
You can't just go through and click a bunch of people and delete. You click one, you delete it, a box comes up. Are you sure? You click the box, then it resets you to the top. So now you got to scroll back down to where you even were after you just looked through
Click the next
everyone.
box.
It's like, come on, dude. You guys are getting creepy as shit. Next topic.
I think we had a lot of topics we could just go for, I think, hours on. And
Yeah, pretty much. That's why we have to move on to. Well, I think we're on the last one actually.
We are.
Yep.
It's been almost 2 hours.
are we gonna?
Mm.
Are
Well,
you guys
1:30.
gonna open it up to questions or anything at the end? Or
I might,
I
but
think
I
that'd
think
be
everybody's.
just-
Yeah, we can do that.
that'd be
But I
interesting
think
just
everybody's
to
going to
see
be kind of.
kind of people.
It's been kind of quiet for now.
shoot questions in, people.
Yeah, I know, right? I wanted to talk about Anonymous because Anonymous, a lot of people don't really, well, of course, they don't really know a lot about Anonymous.
Shocker.
It's kind of weird saying that. But I watched a documentary on them, and it's called We Are Legion, and it's cool, and I recommend everyone checks it out.
Is that on Netflix?
It's on YouTube, free.
YouTube.
Of course it's free, because one thing Anonymous believes in is free and open internet, like information. Everybody gets it for free.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny because we make fun of those kids who are at home being nerdy and things like that. And we always praise, the buff dude who's going off and fighting for our country. And that's great. But now it's switching to where that nerdy kid is sitting at home defending you now from corporations and things like that. I mean, they even hacked into a not well-known child porn site and released 1,500 people's names and addresses that use that site. FBI didn't do shit with it, but they still released it. So it's funny because they're like, that's not funny, but what the kids say is our motto is, free and open information. Oh, and you can't bang kids. So they kind of throw that on there because they've been known to target child predators and things like that. And I think the reason why people are really scared about Anonymous is because they think that they're going to hack them. And it's not going to happen. Like, it could, when I think about it, it's like, I'm scared of Anonymous because they'll hack my site and take my shit down and destroy me. Okay, let's say Anonymous wasn't a group. They're still all hackers, and it still could happen. So it's actually better that they're in a group because now they're focusing on taking down people who are invading our privacy, taking away our rights, instead of being, like, let's say it's 100,000 hackers. Let's say it's just 100,000 hackers just fucking around, which they were doing before they joined Anonymous. You almost have a better chance of getting your shit destroyed than you would if they're in a group.
Right.
Because their cause is not to harm us. It's to make sure we're okay. Like, we don't have... Cody's not going to be able to go online and he can... What we can do is type a survey and say, I think you're charging us too much. And I don't think you should check out my Facebook profile and give it to the FBI. That's all you can do is fill out a survey. These guys can go in and take the site down and black it out and say, you guys need to fix this shit or we're going to keep attacking you and you're not going to ever have your site back up. So a kid explained it as, it's almost like if a kid knew Taekwondo and he watched a kid get beat up and didn't do anything about it, who's worse? The guy that knows Taekwondo and went over there and saved the kid, or the guy who just stood back and watched? Here's kids who have hacking ability, and we don't, helping us. So in my opinion, people shouldn't be afraid of Anonymous. And the problem is people don't know enough about them, and they have a lot of power that you instantly are afraid of them. And I think people should watch that documentary, and people should listen to Skeptic Tank. They interview 2 anonymous kids, and they're intelligent as hell. They remind me of Cody a little bit, and like our podcasts and things like that. The way they talk, they think about things on a whole new level. If you think about it, they're hacking into corporations' emails and reading them. Honestly, they have more information about things than we do. So why wouldn't you listen to what that person says?
Right.
They spill it. They take people's emails and they spill them. And they read all day. They're on their computer reading about stuff. So they have a good background on a lot of stuff.
I think a lot of it comes down to a lot of the negative stereotypes about Anonymous, because whenever they say Anonymous, they say, "Oh, well, they're a group of hackers." Mm-hmm. Well, what do we think of when we think of hacker? Oh, like my bank account got hacked last week. My email got hacked. My Facebook got hacked. So you automatically assume it goes with something bad, and I think that's just like a negative stereotype for them, which obviously doesn't help, and it doesn't help that the government's probably putting half that stuff out there.
Yeah,
and it's why they're associated with that. But it's good that they are trying to do good, and they're trying to prove that they can do good, and they want to do good. Mm-hmm. But it's just going to take time to beat the negative stereotype of what a hacker is.
I mean, it started off as they just did it for fun. Like, they hacked things, and they went into game places, like game rooms, social game rooms, and just fucked around with people.
Well, they have
and laughed about it. But then it developed into being, this is a movement.
Well, they saw what they were capable of.
Yeah, we're going to start, Occupy Wall Street protests. We're going to hack companies that are taking advantage of people. And that's what they turned into. And I have to explain to you guys how it works. Someone doesn't just say, we're going to attack this company. That's not how it works. You make a video with your idea, and if whatever amount of anonymous people there are, they have to be on board with it. It's like a free market system, the kid explained. You come up with an idea, if not a lot of people back it, it's never going to go through. No one's going to ever do it. They do it by numbers. Right. So the people have to agree on this idea.
Like the hacker guys?
The hacker guys.
Okay.
And nobody really knows who anybody is. Nobody knows who the leaders are. Nobody knows any of that stuff. But they have to back it because they all work as a team to take that thing down. So they said it works that way. Like, people are afraid of bad ideas. People saying, let's go attack Cody's house and ruin his internet. Like, nobody's going to be backing that idea because it's a waste of time. And most of them are actually good people, and they want to help.
Right.
So they have to back that idea, and that's how it works. And they're like, well, what if one guy asked a question, well, what if a lot of the rogue people back the idea, or the rogue person does it on their own? Like, he has the capability of taking down a site on his own. Well, then all those hackers are part of Anonymous attack that guy. And that guy doesn't want to do that because Anonymous goes hard on that person. They'll take down his internet, like, they'll grab all his information and make sure it goes everywhere. And they'll expose that person. So it kind of keeps bad people from doing stupid shit. And I mean, they had LulzSec come out, and they're their own group, and they go around and fuck with people. They're a group of, like, they are a branch of Anonymous, but they go around and fuck with people. And people get confused. They think that's all Anonymous. And then the news will tell you it's Anonymous, but it's really LulzSec, and it's a different group. Mm-hmm. And the way I look at it is, like, it's the Joker of Anonymous. Like, people were bashing Anonymous so much about doing bad things when they really weren't. Then LulzSec comes out and actually starts doing bad things where they take your credit card information.
Right.
They fuck with people. And I feel like that's just there to show people, like, this is what we could do, and it's not what we're doing. So when you look at LulzSec and you're like, wow, they're doing shitty stuff, then you'll look at Anonymous and be like, these are the good guys. It helps you distinguish who's good and who's bad.
Well, it depends how you're looking at it, too, because, like, I remember I read an article about how some computer hackers had gotten arrested supposedly for being part of Anonymous. And then Anonymous turned around and they hacked a police website and released all their policemen's personal information that were involved in the arrests and stuff. And I was thinking about that, and I was kind of wondering if it was actually Anonymous that did it, or if it's just kind of the government trying to portray that it was Anonymous to make them seem bad. Because to me, from what it seems like and from what obviously you've watched and everything, I don't think they would. I mean, it would suck to have some of their guys taken in. But at the same time, I feel like they're much smarter than that to be caught in the first place, and then just to be labeled Anonymous.
Well, I think go ahead, sorry.
Well, there was another thing I was trying to relate to it. I can't remember what website it was. Oh, it was the GoDaddy.com. Like a couple weeks ago, all their domain servers went down, and immediately they were just like, "Oh, it was Anonymous. We think it was Anonymous that hacked them."
Yeah, they talked about that,
and they were like, "Yeah," and then. GoDaddy later on came out, no, it was just one of our malfunctions. Sorry about that.
Yeah, like it was a router,
and it was just like, whoa, okay. Like
they said it was really fishy. And they think it was someone working for a different a company that went in and sabotaged it, and then hoping they would blame it on Anonymous.
Well, yeah, and it depends like who they're jumping to and who they're trying to pin it on and what they're trying to portray Anonymous as. Because it got me to thinking of, well, why all of a sudden we jumped to Anonymous and it's like, oh no, it really wasn't them. It was our bad.
People jump to conclusions pretty quick.
Yeah, and it was like I remember I read it on the news in multiple different places. Like Yahoo had it, and my USA Today app had it.
Yeah,
it was just
oh, okay. Do you want to say something about Anonymous or no?
Well, I mean, I think it's important to understand what you were saying about the contrast between. What, LulzSec? Is that what it's called?
LulzSec.
LulzSec?
It's like SEC, like section, sec.
Oh, LulzSec.
I don't even know how to say it.
Yeah, and then there's
those
Anonymous.
Guys.
And it's
those guys.
You have those two distinguishing things. Anonymous realizes that people are going to associate hacker with the negative stereotype. And like you were saying, people get their Facebook hacked. They get their bank hacked. And they say the word hacked with the word me so much that they start to assume that hacking only means it has to do with them or something that has to do with something being negative. So it's important that we see the need for this group right now because they actually have an upper hand. All the old white rich guys that are in power right now are crapping their pants because they do not have the computer experience they need. They might have some dollars to throw around to get people to do that kind of stuff, but then again, how many people do you really want to be involved with your shady backdoor dealings?
Yeah, right.
You know? So it's like you can't really bring a whole lot of other people on the team for all of that. And now you have this group that can literally go in, get any amount of information about you that they want. They could find out who your great-great-great-grandfather was if they wanted to.
They seek the truth.
Yeah.
They make sure we have the truth. And if someone's fucking us over, they'll fuck them over.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's fine with me. You know, you're leveling out the playing field, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Corporations are fucking us every day. And you're going in there and taking down their stuff. Like, if they do something they don't agree with, and a lot of people don't agree with, then they'll take it down. I mean, they took down a guy's radio show. He was a neo-Nazi, I guess it's called. And he was just a racist. Oh, dude, he was so racist. And they would call in and fuck with him. They'd have all their members call in and fuck with him, and he would just play along with it and call them racist names and things like that. And finally, like, all right. And then they just started bashing his website. They took it down completely. He lost. They made him run out of money, and he couldn't do his radio show anymore. Do I feel bad about that? No, I don't. I feel like that's a good thing. They take down child predators. One guy was posting videos of him killing puppies, and it was a huge site, and he would brutally torture puppies and kill them and post pictures and videos. They took that guy down, got him arrested. It's like, that's fine with me. Like, they're policing technology.
The internet, yeah.
And that's fine with me. And if someone messes around with your stuff, you know, because you said, okay, it's fine if Anonymous is controlling the internet, and some rogue guy goes and hacks something, you know, that's going to happen. Things happen. You know, there's times where cops shoot innocent people. Like, it happens. You know, you got to look past all that stuff. And I mean, I was going to say something else when you were, I can't remember what it was, but the kid said it perfectly on how Anonymous works and things like that.
Were you telling me about, I was just thinking of this too, were you the one telling me about the ping thing? Where you ping a website so
That's
much?
That's DDO, like DDoS. They made this thing. It's nerdy as hell. It's called like the low orbit ion cannon or some shit. And it has a picture of a cannon. It's from a video game that they all play. But you download this software and you go to the website, you cut and paste the website and put it in the software, and you just click go. And it sends so many pings to that website that it takes it down. They said it's the equivalent of like a ton of people going on that site and just hitting for refresh like this. A bunch of times, and it shuts it down, like overloads it and shuts it down. And a guy did it just because he thought what they were doing, like who they were attacking, was legitimate. And it seemed like he was like, I felt like I could be a part of something. He went and did it, and that's it. And apparently the government, the FBI came to his house, threw him in jail. He went to jail for a year. They were saying he could go to jail for 15 years. Someone who molests children goes maximum 10. And they're saying his max was 15. Fair. And I'm like, that's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
That is and he went to jail. He went to jail for a year. And then for another year, he couldn't touch his computer. And when they were interviewing, he was like, yeah, you see that computer over there? If I go over and touch that, I'll go back to jail. He just sits there. And I'm like, that's ridiculous, dude. That is stupid. I wish I could remember what those kids said. Oh, another time, Egypt took down the internet for their citizens when they were having those riots and things like that, and the government were beating the shit out of them, or the police were beating the shit out of them. They shut their internet down. So you can see the graph of like how many people log on to Twitter and stuff, and then it's just like, pff. Anonymous made a program where they can go onto it they can access it on their computers and type and relay information to Anonymous, and then Anonymous would post it, live posts on Twitter and the internet. So they were actually still they were letting them express what was going on over there. So it's like Anonymous is like, dude, you're not going to stop us ever.
How can they?
You can't stop technology. That's what they say. You can't. And if people want to sit here and think hackers are just, they're making trouble for us. And he goes, look, lady, or whoever says this, we don't care if the internet goes away because we'll always have access to the internet. We're smart enough to have access to the internet. It's you who won't have the internet. We don't have to do this. We don't have to go to prison. We could just chill on our computers and let everything go to shit. But we feel guilty by sitting back and watching it go to shit. And that's the best point I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. The fact that these kids are like, we'll be on the internet when you're not. We'll cruise around and do whatever the hell we want. It's not about us not having the internet. It's about you not having the internet. And to me, that was that sealed the deal for me when someone said that. I was like, and you look at all these anonymous people, they put their mask on and they go online and they talk to people and they're just like us, and they'll say, like, I don't care if I go to jail. And if someone wants to defend me and like my rights and my internet, I mean, we do this podcast on the internet. If someone decides that what we say is not what people need to hear, they can shut us down. Just like that. You beatboxing, they could be like, you took that from a song, copyright, and it's down. And I just don't think. I don't think I can be mad at them for what they're doing, is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And these people aren't, they say it flat out. I don't care if I go to jail. I don't want to sit around and let it happen. I'll go to jail. I don't care.
As long as they stay for the good. And like you said, if any of them start doing bad things, then they just attack them and that guy's done.
Yeah, the whole collective will attack them.
It kind of helps, but I'd hope they don't. To me, I just feel like they're trying to pin this negative stereotype on them. Like with the whole GoDaddy thing,
they'll try.
How they just jumped so fast.
It's the media that does it.
It was them. So all of a sudden, all these people were like, "Well, they shut me down. Why? I wasn't doing anything bad. I was just trying to sell my candles or whatever." And then their website's gone. So I don't. To me, as long as they make sure they stay for the good and they don't steer from it and they don't get, one guy doesn't get pissed off one day and attack something he shouldn't, and then all of a sudden it's bringing heat on the whole group and.
It's happened, but people are more afraid to do it now because the whole group, which is growing,
right,
crazy big, would attack you. And it's funny because the kids that got arrested that you talked about,
they
didn't have any computer skills.
Oh yeah.
They're just they're part of Anonymous because they wanted to be a part of Anonymous. they don't have an application. You don't have to know any computer skills to be a part of Anonymous. Everybody's a part of Anonymous. Your gardener's anonymous. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And a guy put it the best way was like, it's like a flock of birds. They're all going a certain direction, but they're allowed to leave or join. Birds can join or leave. That's what you don't have a leader of a flock of birds. You don't have, sometimes you have a formation, but most of the time it's just a bunch of birds flying to a spot, and that's what they are.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend everybody checks that out because it opened up my eyes because I used to be afraid. I mean, we did a podcast with Zach, and we were afraid to even say Anonymous on our podcast. That's how afraid we were of them.
Really?
Yeah.
That was way back when.
Yeah. So do your research before you just start, hating on people because they're actually a bunch of good kids, and it makes me believe that, there is a lot of good people out there. People don't want to be mean. I don't think people just come out of the womb and like, I want to kill somebody.
It depends what factors are in it too.
Yeah.
But
some people like to fool around, but why do we have to take things so serious all the time, I guess, is what they're trying to say. But I think we're ready to wrap this shit up.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good podcast.
It was.
Thanks for being on, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
It was great.
It's much fun.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
We had a good debate. Didn't get too heated, really, at all.
That's why I wanted like some input. I just want to hear what someone has to say that's like fully against the like anonymous group, or that's just fully for Facebook having all of your information and just stuff like that to really see. Because like we can put forth these questions and and whatnot. But in the end, like someone we just absolutely do not know, I think would have to be it. Because like I know you guys fairly well, so like I know how you think and everything. But just to see with someone that I don't know and doesn't really has a completely different view about Anonymous than I do would just kind of be interesting to see. Cause,
yeah, someone who could argue against it, I guess.
Which, I mean, I think it's extremely hard to do.
Yeah, I think the whole purpose of this debate was just to throw around a lot of ideas and come up with maybe some new ideas and new thoughts on things that people have never heard.
For sure.
And
Definitely
that's
help.
really what the goal of this whole podcast was. And it was fun. I had a good time. And,
For sure.
you know, we'll be surprised at how much we probably learned from it, too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Definitely.
if you guys want to know how to properly debate, just watch this video. Sounded all cocky as shit. End it with this Israeli guy showing his cartoon bomb.
Oh, yeah.
That's how we'll end it.
That's great,
It's like,
man.
you guys are stupid, and
That's
I'll
great.
explain what's going on right now with a picture of a bomb.
Oh, man.
God, so stupid. All right, man. Follow us at Team Young Life P. Check us out on our website, younglifeperception.com, all that mess, younglifeperception.wordpress.com. Mike, at Mike_Lemke, at Schwemc, SCHWEMC, and at Caddy Quinn. You can follow us, shoot us a question, maybe even tell Mike why Anonymous is bad. But they're not bad. We love them. Don't hack us, please.
We are the Young Life Perception. We're out.
See ya. You gonna end it with a beatbox? Strobe lights are on. Strobe lights.